Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast for UFC Vegas 92. The main event is Edson Jr. Barboza taking on Lerone the Miracle Murphy. I'm Sniper, that's Monk, that's Geek. We're going to break down all 12 fights on this card for DraftKings. Little betting advice in there as well. We're going to mix it all up. Smash that like button for me. We're going to talk about DraftKings before I let these guys say hi. As of right now, there are 11 fights on DraftKings and salaries. We're going to add one more. We'll talk about that fight as we go. So we're recording this on Tuesday. Make sure you jump in DFS Army to get all our full thoughts on the whole card written out in addition to this podcast. Really good week last week for the pod, and we got Geek back this week, so all systems are go. Geek, you feeling any better?
Listen, I'm feeling a little better. It's something going around the stomach thing. It messed me up for like a week.
No good.
Weird illness. But what made it better was I phoned in the kill shot to you here of Hooper last week, Sniper.
Yep.
And hopefully you presented that to the audience. And of course, in the DFS Army Discord, I let everybody know, load up on hoops.
We're all about Hooper.
I'm kind of becoming the Hooper whisperer. I've cashed a lot of bets with Hooper. People think he can't strike. People think he sucks.
He's 24. He's getting better.
And they put him up against scrubs. Like the UFC keeps putting up against guys specifically that he can beat. Last week was an easy one. I thought Hooper is better everywhere. But the best was cashing that sub prop at plus 300. Always feels good. And loading up on him in the nuts. So I had about 70% Hooper exposure last week. It was really, really good. And hopefully we're going to identify another spot like that here.
Well, if we're going to victory lap, Monk knows I got to take my turn.
You did.
I posted it everywhere. I got people telling me it was Waldo Cortez Acosta. People on Twitter going, Despania should be minus 5,000. Within a round of that fight, Monk was like, I know what's about to happen. Sure enough, I went into Twitter and I fought all the trolls back. That was glorious.
How did you know that Waldo had takedowns?
Because he's a full mixed martial artist. He's 11-1 at a good camp, just more time in the game. And I thought, just, you know what? I was going to be wrong if he couldn't get them or he got caught coming in, but he's been a mixed martial artist way longer than Despania, who's a Taekwondo guy. When Josh Parisian is John Jones compared to your other opponents, like I said last week, like just major red flag for me. I wish we had some more of those red flags this week.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
Monk, you got. I mean, are the stats queued up for this card? Because there's we're gonna need some statistical help here. I think I looked at our notes. We're pretty similar. Few dog plays here, but this is a tough card overall. Are there gonna get some foreshadowing before we dive into the fights? You got any good statistical spots for us?
We do have 4 women's fights to go over. The return of Carnelosi. We've got Abus Magomedov. We've got Temba Garimbo here. So there's a couple of guys and women that up and down. But yeah, we've got the stats locked and loaded. A couple of not going to say frauds, but a couple of guys that have wins over terrible opponents that everybody's going to be on this week. So we'll try to identify those.
Whenever anybody mentions Abus now, I just think of Sean Strickland. What's an Abus? The fuck is that? Like, I hate Strickland. That's one of the funnier things he's ever said. All right, guys, let's dig into it. First fight of the night, one of those 4 women's fights. Emily Ducote taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. Ducote, pretty large favorite here, minus 275. The comeback on Demopoulos is plus 220. To head over, don't know why I didn't have DraftKings pulled up, but I do now. I stalled long enough. Ducote is 9,200. The comeback on Demopoulos is 7,000. Something that I do think we're going to have to touch on in this fight is that the fight goes to decision line is minus 400. Geek, I know not the welcome present you want back, but you're first for this one.
Dude, this fight is a stinker. First of all, and let's clear it up. Yes, Ducote throws a lot of strikes per minute. She hasn't beaten anybody. And Vanessa Demopoulos, like Ducote doesn't deserve this line. What the hell is this line? It's crazy. She's minus 340. Who the hell has she ever beaten? With that being said, I don't really think Ducote has, even at averaging almost 7 strikes per minute, which is great. Oh my gosh, she gets a lot of strikes off. Minus 450 to go decision and no takedown upside here, or very little. It's not that Demopoulos has takedown defense. She doesn't even train that. She doesn't know anything about it. Nothing, like 0. But Ducote's probably just going to stand and strike with her. And so, I mean, I can multiply 7 times 5 times 3. And it's not enough It's not enough to score 100. It's not enough to justify the price. I know, Monk, that you love the ladies, not just,
flyweights.
Oh, there we go. On the flyweight. Yeah, these are a little smaller than you like the bigger girls, is what you're saying.
Medium. Medium.
So yeah, at 115, I don't see any reason to mess with Ducote at all. And unless you guys have some reasoning here, I'm like, I'm not touching that. And then I actually think Demopoulos, if I was betting and you were forcing me, gun to my head, to put my money on one of these two, it would be Demopoulos. I'm taking the plus money. There's no way I'm laying minus 400 on Emily. I've only ever beaten. Wait, let me give you the name. Her big win is let's see here. Jessica Panay. That's your big one. And Ashley Yoder.
She was like 41 or some shit. 43.
Yeah, that's who she's beaten. Ashley Yoder. She lost to Lupi. She lost to Angie, and she's minus 400. What is happening?
It's that Vanessa Demopoulos is bad. I agree, though. I am picking Ducote to win. I do think she's better. But the only side of this fight I'm even a little bit interested in is Demopoulos, because if she wins at 7,000, it's a big discount. And she's the best pure cash punt on the card, because you're going to get 3 rounds at minus 400 to go to decision. So she's my favorite cash punt. And the only one I think who's got a chance at the optimal for GPPs anyway. So it's one of those picking Ducote, but Demopoulos is the better play. Monk, what do the stats tell us, though?
That's exactly right. I mean, exactly what I was going to say. Ducote's too expensive. Her average points per win is terrible. Demopoulos has the only upside. Her average points per win much better. And Ducote is the one giving up points per loss at 96 compared to Demopoulos averaging only 88 given up per loss. I know it's not a ton of fights there, but that's kind of how we're looking. 92 is way too expensive. Just like you guys said. I mean, this is a DFS nightmare scenario. Minus 400 and the goes the decision is like minus whatever you said, a huge number. So that's not what we want to see. And so therefore we're only looking at the underdog really, like you said, pretty much as a punt in case something happens.
By the way, Demopoulos also wins the nickname battle with Little Monster versus whatever the fuck Ducote is.
Yeah, unless you're like Lil Wayne, Gordina is like Lil Fat Girl, so that's kind of funny. But unless you're Lil Wayne,
you like him thick. We've already covered this.
Lil Medium Girl, we did cover this. Unless you're Lil Wayne, dude, I don't want to hear Lil in your name. Like that's you're a 35-year-old woman. Come on. Let's get it together.
Now that's got me thinking, what's the height here? Oh, wait a minute. Let's see the height differential. Nope.
5'2".
They're both Lil.
They're both Lil, yeah.
They're both Lil. There's no.
I guess the Inha is technically Lil in Portuguese, so I don't know.
We covered last week. I don't know shit about Portuguese. We covered that pretty well.
This is a this is a Demopoulos or bust fight, guys. Come on.
All right, let's get off of this fight and let's go talk about Alatang Haili taking on Clayton Rodriguez. Alatang, the Mongolian Knight Haili, I suppose. He's the dog in this one at plus 150. Clayton is minus 185 on the comeback. Our DraftKings salaries here. Clayton is 8,600. Alatang Haili at 7,600. Monk, we chatted a little bit before. This is one of the dogs that I like, and I think you are in agreement. So tell us why the stats are going to make us look smart here.
Yeah, same. I mean, when we come to Clayton Rodriguez, he's only beaten Shannon Ross, guys. So when you see that in my notes, the guy has 131 average per win. That's one win, and it's against basically the worst fighter in the division. So, yeah, he's given it up completely against Farid Basharat. Close fight against CJ Vergara, but he still lost at $9,400. Ouch, that's not what you want to see. He was also minus 400 that week. Alatang Haili, I love where he's training. He's what 2-1 in his last 5, but just like the other fight, the more expensive fighter is giving up more points per loss. Clayton over 2 losses, averaging his opponents, I should say, averaging 97 points per loss, whereas Alatang Haili is only giving up 74. So again, we're not at like 9,200, but we're still at a pretty decent favorite price to dog price. I like the dog here. I think he's definitely going to be fighting for your money, and he's definitely not Shannon Ross. So give me the Mongolian Knight. Lost to Casey Kenny and lost to Chris Gutierrez. Decent names. His wins aren't the best. Chad Anheliger, decent. Kevin Crew, not great. No. But still not Shannon Ross. So yeah, give me Alatang Haili. Hopefully we got a good dog spot here.
Yeah, and 7,000 for Demopoulos versus 7,600 for Alatang Haili. Still minus 200 to go to to decision. And Alateng Hailey, I think his path to victory here is actually through the grappling. So again, it's another one where even if you like Clayton, his path to a big score, there's plenty of high inside the distance prop fights coming up. So it's probably a favor that even if you like him, not representing a good DK play. And I happen to be, at least this time, unlike Demopolis, I am picking the dog straight up with that grappling advantage. Geek, where do you stand?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Here, as far as Cletson Rodriguez, his takedown defense not that great, 65% over the course of his UFC career. Nothing he does scores well on DraftKings outside of the potential for a knockout. The odds makers are not really saying the knockout's gonna be super likely here, and what you said is probably what's going to happen. Alateng Hailey probably gets a takedown or two over the course of this fight. At the very least, it's going to make it low scoring for the other side because it's not going to be just getting pieced up the whole time. If it does go to decision, I do not like K-Rod at all. He seems to have been a UFC disappointment. Now, one of the things I do look for those guys that used to be 9,400, now the price drop, that is like a sign to play them when they're cheaper. But I mean, I think it was a mistaken. That might have been a mistakenly over optimistic view of his skills before he actually went up against anybody halfway decent. His losses came against mediocre, not bad. I mean, CJ Vergara is fine. Bash brother, fine. I mean, so his losses are fine, but you know, Hailey Alateng has more upside here with the grappling. I don't love this fight at all for DraftKings, but if I have to be on a side, I'm going to be on the underdog.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to the second of the 4 women fights on this card. Piera La Fiera Rodriguez taking on Ariane Soriso Carnelossi. Carnelossi, first fight in 2 years since her loss to Lupi Godinez. And she is the underdog at plus 145. Rodriguez, the favorite, at minus 175. DraftKings prices for this fight. Pierre Rodriguez is 8,800. Carnelossi is 7,400. Geek, what do you got? You are first for this one. Another women's fight to tackle.
Yeah, I think P-Rod is the rightful favorite here. I'm going to give it to her. Yeah, she is the rightful favorite in this fight. She's actually shown some upside. And what I really love about her and why I'm probably going to be heavily exposed to P-Rod is she's a grappling freak. And Ariane Carnelossi, for the course of her UFC career, I mean, Lupi owned her and she's got 8% takedown defense. It's terrible, which means that P-Rod had no problem taking her down. And that's what's going to happen in this fight. You're going to see multiple takedowns by P-Rod. She's averaging three takedowns per 15 minutes. She's going to take her down, rinse it, repeat it. She's going to be like Monk over here putting oil in his beard. You got to rinse it, repeat it, do it again.
Right.
Fucking oil that shit up, Monk. What are you saying? I like P-Rod. She'll be one of my higher exposures.
Yeah, this was also minus 200 to go to decision. I promise the knockouts are coming, guys. But it's the favorite at least has a big grappling advantage here. Carnelossi, we've seen her get tired. We've seen her being grappled. I am interested to see what kind of Brazilian vitamin she is on now that USADA is gone, because she already looks she was yoked out of her fucking mind 2 years ago. So that'll be interesting. But of all the favorites, Pierre, that we've covered so far, Pierre is the one I have the most interest in. I do think she wins for the same reason Geek mentioned, in that big grappling advantage of Monk. Are we going 3 for 3 here?
Yeah, I think so. You guys ever seen Rick and Morty where he gets that one gigantic arm and he's just like bashing people with it? That's what Carnelossi looks like, but she's got 2 of them. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, wow. I don't know what her cardio is going to look like. You nailed it. You said 8%. I mean, the stat was in my thing. I hadn't seen it. I had to go look, and it's right. 8%.
My sheet is fucked up. What's happening?
She's allowed, yeah, exactly. She's allowed 11 of 12 takedowns. So it's not a huge sample size, but Jesus.
Wait, Na Liang was taking her down at will, and that is not a girl who gets a lot of takedowns. And then Lupi, who sometimes doesn't bother going for takedowns because she just feels she can't get one. She got 8 takedowns. Yeah. It's not like Ariane Carnelossi had some takedowns in her career as well, and she can get one. But
I mean, it's against much like Cledson Rodriguez, or our wins here against Estela Nunes. Who, as we know, we play her opponent every time in DraftKings because she gives up 1 million points, and Na Liang. So we're right here in the Shannon Ross type territory.
Yeah,
Rodriguez is like 3.4 takedowns a minute. Carnelossi allows 3.5 or per 15 minutes. Carnelossi allows 3.5, 3.6, something like that. Takedowns per 15 minutes. Not going to overthink it. I'm not expecting a finish, but if somebody has upside, it's the grappling upside in 15 minutes. And I think Rodriguez can hit a decent number at that salary.
Agreed. Moving on to what is an ABUS?
What is an ABUS?
The good old Sean Strickland quote. ABUS Magomedov is a minus 250 favorite against. How was, you know what the most surprising thing about this fight? That Warley Alves is only 33 years old. He seems like he's a fucking million to me. Like,
no, the most surprising thing about this fight is that ABUS Magomedov is 4 months older. Warley's the younger fighter here.
It's bananas. ABUS back-to-back losses here. Warley's lost 4 of the last 5. Minus 250 is the favored line for ABUS. ABUS is 9,000 on DraftKings, 7,200 for Warley Alves. Monk, I would think we got a lot of data on this fight. What are the numbers telling us?
I think this is decent for GPP. I'm not going to think too hard on it. If Warley Alves, he's 0 for 3 in his last 5. And 2 of those have been KO losses.
Jeremiah Wells
and
Dalby and
and Ikram Alaskarov. So
this one's not bad. Dalby's
bad,
so overrated. That's bad.
Yeah, but is Alves Brazilian? No Brazilian can beat Nicholas Albi. I dare you to find one.
He's not that bad. I don't know what's up with Dalby. He's just disappointing. He's not bad. He's just disappointed.
He's Danish. That's what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he is. It's Danish.
This is definitely a step down compared to Sean Strickland and Kyle Bahayo. So I think ABUS definitely has round 1 upside. I think he has round 2 upside, and that's probably about it. If this goes to decision, I'm going to be sad because I'll have too much exposure to ABUS at that point, but I'm also not going to go crazy. Warley Alves, let's see, he's 1 for 4 in his last 5. Win over Munir Lazez. It was a round 1 win, 116. I guess play him a little bit. What are our salaries here? He's at 7,200. I'm not expecting much. Give me ABUS and GPPs. Don't play this in cash, probably.
I'm gonna go a little bit harder on ABUS and let Geek break the tie here, because ABUS on some books he's minus 250 here in Tapology. You have to look. He's up to he was minus 325 at some books, down to minus.
That's not bad for 9K then, I guess.
320 for 9K.
Yeah.
Fight, where are we at looking at here? The fight ends inside the distance is minus 325. And yet ABUS Magomedov is losing to Kyle Bahayo and Sean Strickland. Warley Alves ain't one of those two fucking guys. I think this is a great bounce back spot here for ABUS. Warley on his way out. I'll be a little bit higher on ABUS than Monk will, especially because in that range, you remember now, in that range is, let's see, I accidentally moved it. Emily Ducote is a little bit more expensive, and you got Pierre Rodriguez, who, there's grappling upside, but minus 325.
You might be right. I mean, I will say don't play it in cash. I'll say you can play. I wouldn't be too mad. Play a little.
It's kind of a rough card. ABUS makes for one of my favorite 9K options.
Yeah, you could play ABUS. Listen, the guy's minus 165 to win inside the distance.
Yeah.
Warley Alves is just one of these guys, though, that will, he's a strange fighter. I mean, he'll just knock somebody out every once in a while, and he'll look good out of nowhere, and you're like, how'd that happen? But most of the time he looks like shit. And you're right, you cannot be holding against the bus here the fact that he lost to 2 elite fighters. Like, come on, everybody who's not losing to Sean Strickland, first of all, and then Kyle Bahayo's on the rise, man. That guy's good. So
if he loses this one, I'll throw up red flags. This will be a real problem.
If he loses to Warley, now we're putting him in a whole different category. But as far as and when he was up against Stolfus, he did what he's supposed to do. He is a finisher. He's finished a lot of fights in his career. Now he's fighting in weird Russian leagues, but they're not that bad. And he's finishing a lot of opponents who had decent records. Like his wins against the 12-0, against 14-4, like they didn't come against complete zeros, 12-2s. Now, again, hard to know if people in PFL and KSW are any good, but the main thing is
legit. That's what I was just going to go look at what promotion. KSW is good.
Like, a 12-0 guy in KSW. So I think he's got the last name. It's important.
Sadabu C is a monster. I mean, different than 5 or 6 years ago, Sadabu C, but it's got some PFL highlights that if you're an MMA fan, you should go watch.
there's a 12-0 guy in KSW there that he, finished. So he's getting the early finishes. And Warley Alves gets knocked out. I mean, he's a little bit of a dangerous opponent. He's like just a weird guy. And he just comes out every once in a while and looks good. But most of the time, when Warley Alves looks good, it's like a one-punch knockout. It's almost never a great grappling, just like a great battle. It's always something unusual. He doesn't really do anything that's impressive. But the other thing is, Warley Alves is not going to be able to really grapple with Magomedov. He's got very good takedown defense. I highly doubt he will get taken down. So we're just looking at striking and two big dudes throwing fists. Somebody's probably going to get knocked out, and it's probably going to be Warley Alves.
James Krause losses. It's always interesting to see these days. All right.
James Krause is now, he's working some pyramid scheme. Or if you get in at the top of the pyramid, you have a real chance. If you can get like 10, 20 people below you, fucking make some money.
Just crazy. All right, let's talk about Tamires Trattora Vidal. She is the underdog here at plus 300, a big underdog to Melissa Gatto, who's minus 410. The just crazy. The DraftKings salaries on this fight. Gatto is 9,400.
Oh my goodness.
Tamires Vidal is 6,800. It's a little bit rough to stomach, and I was pulling up the inside the distance on this fight is one that you have to start thinking about it because it's 50-50, minus 115 each side. Fight ends inside the distance. So how the hell do we attack this one, Geek?
Man, do we expect Gatto to go for takedowns? Because I have a feeling that Tamires can't stop one. So when Gatto does go for a takedown, she's pretty good. She's got nice grappling, and that's how she scores well if she wins. I don't know if she's going to do it. She's only averaging just over 1 or 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. So it's not like I definitely know that she's going to do that, but she would probably need to because, Gatto doesn't do anything great with her fists. She's landing 4 strikes a minute. It's nothing special. It doesn't score well. It doesn't do anything. But yes, I think there's a skill gap here, and I just kind of got to hope that Gatto goes for the takedown. She could even get a submission here, a sneaky one, but on paper, this does not look like a fight that I want to stretch my budget on DraftKings up to 9,400 for, unless Monk tells me that Gatto is this amazing, super secret, awesome scorer.
No, I mean, she hung in there with Tracy Cortez, but she lost to, she had a knockout over Sarge. It's one of those you got to rely on the knockout from her. She could get some takedowns, but the problem is Tamires sucks. She got the win over Ramona Pasquale, and then lost a split decision to Montserrat Rondon, who we recently saw. She ain't that good either. I think Gatto's just better by process of elimination and more likely to grapple and more likely to score. But I can't believe we found, and because of minus 115, I'm probably going to have to play some Gatto even at that price tag. And I don't love it. I'll probably end up around 15-20% of her and under on Vidal and move on about my day. Monk, is that what the stats are telling us? Please tell us you have a better read on these female fighters.
Yikes. Well, I won't promise anything, but we've got another Cledson Rodriguez, Shannon Ross situation here in Tamires Vidal as the only opponent she has beaten, as you mentioned, was Ramona Pasquale. You said you went or made that sound. I would go even. I think that's being generous. Ramona Pasquale, yikes. So I don't count that at all. And then she got kind of worked on by Vidal. I know it was a split decision, but just on the stats.
No, she
by Rendon. Rendon.
Yeah.
She got worked on there. It was a split, but the stats weren't that close. She got controlled for an entire round out of the 15-minute fight and got outstruck and got taken down 3 times. So not that impressive. Whereas Gatto, her losses are to Lipsky, Cortez. I don't mind that. It looks like is this one at bantamweight, guys?
I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't have it
because Gatto's been at flyweight. So if this is at bantamweight, she's moving up.
I mean,
Tamires has been just give me 1 second. I'll find it for you.
I just noticed it.
This fight is at bantamweight.
So yeah, this will be Gatto's first fight at bantamweight now. This is the last thing I'll say. Look at these two side by side, and not that picture, but like if you could see like what Gatto actually looks like, her physique, and then look at Vidal's physique. I think there's a huge difference here, and I think one is in much better shape than the other. We'll just say that. So we'll go Gatto. I don't know if the salary is justified, but like Sniper said, at that inside the distance line, probably going to have a little bit, even though I do think it goes all 15 minutes.
Just a taste. Not a lot, just a taste.
Yeah, I'm gonna have no Tamiris Vidal, to be clear. Like none. I don't have any interest in Vidal here, unlike the other women's fight. And yeah, you're right. Gatto did, if she can knock her out, if this girl's so terrible, sometimes you can even justify that price. So outside of like early finish / absolute domination exposure to Gatto, the $9,400 price tag, I got to see how the rest of this card comes together. But my initial instinct is that's going to be a little spendy for me.
Yeah, because Waldo Cortez Acosta scored like 95, which is a few takedowns, and he really just laid, and he didn't even have that much volume on top. Gatto gets on top and throws more of those little pity patch strikes that count now. I mean, you can put up 100 easy that way.
It's just a question of will she go for the takedown?
That's how Mackenzie Dern scores a fucking 120, 30 points every time she wins.
No, she gets points for her ass, and that's fine with me.
Maybe they're landing strikes too. I don't know.
I am writing that down as a callback for my Twitter post later. Mackenzie Dern gets points for her ass.
Yeah, there we go.
People, I mean, I'm reaching for call outs here. You know
what's a great thing, Sniper? We are uncancelable.
It's just great because I really pushed some buttons last week. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the show.
There's almost nothing you can say.
What did I say? There was a tangent we got off on last week that was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and while you're talking here in a second, see if I can remember.
There is no cancellations here.
But we have a little bit to get to here in that Umar C taking on Tuco Tokos. Umar C was supposed to fight. I don't even fucking remember anymore. Someone else. Oh, Antonio Tricoli, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's like broccoli, but with a T.
Broccoli. Oh, that's right. I hadn't even. That was a short notice fight, and I just started to get to it like end of yesterday, and it was already canceled to this guy. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at this. Look, long story short, I looked at both these guys briefly, and I talked to a few people that I know from the UK scene, and basically, and I'm sure there's a little bit of hyperbole. Umar C is expected to be a huge favorite. He looks much better. He is a legit prospect coming in from also on the regional side. They're both regional guys. Fury, in combat.
The odds are out for this, Sniper.
Are they? See, last I looked, they were not.
I have odds for it.
You have odds. Let me refresh fightodds.io because
they're there. It's there.
So
Umar is minus 270.
Nope, that's his old opponent.
Wait, no, that's against a different guy.
We are waiting for the updated opponent. So we're expecting a very large line here, and I'm anticipating that Umar C is going to be the most expensive fighter on the card at 9,600.
Oh, is he not even in the player pool as of yet?
Not in the player pool yet. He still has to get added to the player pool. We don't have salaries. We don't have odds. Big boys throwing down, and Umar C is good, and this guy sucks ass. That's kind of my quick analysis. Did you get any stats, Monk, on either of these motherfuckers?
Just a DW, or no, this was a road to UFC fight for Tokos. He fought the gigantic dude from China,
Yang Zhang, and he lost.
Yeah. And he lost in like 4 minutes. Did not look good. Got landed a takedown, but got knocked down, got out controlled, got outstruck. Omar Sy, the only thing I have on him is his tapology. Fought Alcantara and Enrique da Silva, two former UFC guys. Other than that, his guys are kind of, he fought an 8-2 guy and a 5-0 guy, but the rest of his guys are 0-0, 2-0, 1-0 type of stuff. He was supposed to fight Rodolfo Bellato, but that also was canceled a while back. So yeah, I'm expecting, I'll just play this one by the odds. If he's 9,600, on a super short notice against a guy that you said sucks, I guess I'm going to have a little bit of him, but that is super expensive. He's only going to pay it off if he gets a finish in the first round.
If you want to wiki cap him, he's got 9 wins, 4 TKOs in the first round, 2 subs in the first round. So that's 6 of 9 first round finishes, some second round finishes. And KSW, it's not total scrubs, 26 and 17.
Right.
Luis Henrique da Silva was in the UFC once upon a time. Bartolome, you
don't know who that is.
I don't know him. I don't know the Bartolome. I would think of Bartosz Fabinski, who is way different. That's why I hesitated for a second.
I don't know who these fucking guys are.
You have to know who Luis Henrique da Silva is.
I can tell you if you look up Tuco's tapology, he's got losses to scrubs. Like that's the difference. This isn't a guy who's the other guy's beating scrubs. Fine,
training at a kill cliff at least.
he's got losses to massive scrubs, like not that long ago. And I'm not even talking to Ming
this
Yang
guy
Zhang. I don't know if he's good, but if you go down the list, Ty Guerter, Kevin Fryer, and his wins are against 0-1s and 1-3 and 1s.
1-7, 2 fights ago, 1-7.
Yeah, it's not impressive. It's not impressive.
That's rough. And they are big boys. Going to have a big inside the distance prop. I am going to play some Umar C. I will be on that. We'll be on that train. I'm not going to play any of this motherfucker, who, by the way, changed his name halfway through his career from George Tokos to Tuco Tokos, which is fucking annoying when you're trying to find tape on him.
Fucking watch Breaking Bad or some shit?
I don't know, but
nothing. I prefer
that over in the UK.
I like this name. Tuco Turcos is an awesome. Tuco Tacos is an awesome name.
If you're gonna suck, don't make my life harder researching you.
But it's an awesome name. Let's give him credit for choosing a cool name.
Yeah, but if he chose it himself, it's not awesome.
No, probably his friends will call him Tuco. So he's like, you know what? Let me go with that.
Monk has a lot of nickname rules. I've learned. Like he's
you can't make up your own nicknames. What you're saying?
You can't name your no
solo nicknaming. What if it's like a disparaging nickname?
I mean, you either gotta accept it or hang out with different group. That's what you gotta do.
All right, that's fair. I'll allow it, but I
mean, if you fall in some like Chili one day and your nickname is like Chili for the rest, that's it. You gotta either move or your name's Chili. You know what I mean?
Chili's a good name.
Could be worse.
All right, let's move on, Sniper.
Let's move on. I was seeing how far that could go. We got to talk more big salaries. Tom Big Train Nolan. He is minus 450. As of right now, he's the most expensive fighter on the card. But like I said, expect that to change. Victor Martinez, the comeback is plus 340. Those exact salaries right now. We have Tom Nolan is 9,500. Victor Martinez is 6,700. This fight odds. So you looking up the Umar C.
Massive. It's massive. Minus 700 to end inside the distance.
There it is. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Minus 700 to end inside the distance.
Minus 170 under 1.5 rounds.
Yeah, this is a very, 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 very strong spot to play. I think I actually only rated this 4 out of 5 stars fight target on my cheat sheet, but mostly because I only want the Tom Nolan side. Like, it's not the 5 stars to me are load up, play a little both sides, like just play a bunch of Tom Nolan. The problem is the salary. I think he's going to smash this dude. And just like I said, it's a salary issue. Monk, you got anything else statistically for this fight?
I mean, yeah, it's a salary issue, but it's also a trust issue. I mean, let's not forget, dude, that Nicholas Mata beat this guy in 1 minute as a huge underdog. I don't remember his salary off the top of my head, but the guy had 6 fights. Now he's got 7 fights, and now he's even more expensive than he was before, coming off of a loss to a guy that had UFC experience. Victor Martinez, he fought Jordan Levy. He has 2 minutes of UFC experience.
Yeah, his UFC experience was getting knocked out by Jordan Levy.
Yeah. So it's Tom Nolan's the obvious pick, but seriously, just consider all that other shit I just said before you throw 80% of it. This guy now has 7 pro fights. So
I can't throw 80% of anybody at this price tag. That's
true. That's a bit. I was just riffing, but it's a bit much. But
there must be a story, Monk, behind Tom Nolan. And why is this guy who's never beaten anybody
right
ever, why is he so beloved? What is the thing about him? Was it that he finished a couple of regional scene scrubs? What is the story behind this fighter? Because I don't know it. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I wish I had that information, but there's nothing about his history that says minus 700 inside the distance. What am I missing here about this fight?
I don't know. Everybody, I mean, he won in the first minute and a half in his DWCS fight. I honestly don't know, because you're right. It's 2-2, 0-1. He fought a guy that was 7-1 and 9-6. So he's fought, not cans, and he has an okay amateur record. But I mean, I'm just saying from experience, at least the guy has fights, but Jesus, 7 fights. And now I just don't get how he's more expensive coming off of a loss. And I don't trust him. I'll play him. He should smash, but I certainly don't trust him. Plus, he's fighting a guy named Vic the Brick. Come on, bro.
Oh, God.
Come on.
And take a shot. But no, I mean, he did get knocked out by a grappler with no striking.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Is this because of the loss to Levitt, Sniper, that everybody's like, this dude has no chin and he stinks? Like, I don't understand what's going on here.
Just that he stinks. He just stinks. Like he's got the Contender Series decision win against Jacob Rosales, and then he's only also fought 3 times in 5 years or 4.5 years. That's pretty concerning too. Luis Luna, Kambache, I think that was, yeah. Jacob. There's just nothing in his resume is impressive. There's nothing in the tape that is super impressive to me. Like, at least in his tape, I know he lost to Nicholas Mata, but Tom Nolan looked good on tape. The win over the Bogdan Grad at the Contender Series, which is much more impressive than Victor Martinez. I think this was the really, and he's 24 years old also, like bordering on Chase Hooper when he got into the UFC territory.
Young,
just
improving,
more talent and improving. Exactly.
I mean, I kind of get it, but I still have to say I don't really understand why this line is so extreme or any of that. So, but the odds makers are telling us play Tom Nolan.
All right, we'll go from what the odds makers say too. I believe we are now entering the main card. Angie Overkill Hill. She's minus 160. We got her as a favorite, taking on Luana Pinheiro at plus 130. Line on this fight. Hill is 8,300. Pinheiro is 7,900. Geek, I know you love some Angie Overkill Hill. Tons of volume here. This fight, by the way, is minus 350 to go to a decision. So how are we handling it?
Yeah, no, I like Angela Hill, and I don't mind the price point here. I think this fight is actually one that we can target a little bit of. Angie Hill can do everything at this point in her career. She even can get a takedown, but more importantly, she's gotten much, much better in recent years at stopping takedowns. And back in the day, we'd look at Pinheiro, and she's kind of got a little grappling upside and be like, all right, she's going to take Hill down. She's going to submit her. I think she's live to get a takedown. But Angie Hill's takedown defense has gotten progressively better through the years, and she's actually really good at it. And I think she will be able to stuff the attempts from Luana. And on the feet, I don't even think it's really close. I think Angie Hill is the better striker all day. So Hill keeps it standing and pieces her up. Even at 39 years old, I think she can take this one and potentially even score all right. Like, she's nasty with those elbows. And I love Angie when she's just rolling out there. She's volume. She will need to do a little bit of damage at some point in order to get that score up, maybe get a takedown of her own, which she has in her repertoire at this point. She got to do a little something, add a couple points there, but she is inexpensive. And I do think I'm picking Hill to get the win.
Yeah, as am I. Like I said, volume, good takedown defense. My only concern that I'll add is that Hill is, how old is Hill now? 39 years old. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the fucking wheels to fall off of Angela Hill. That's really my concern is at some point it's going to happen. Is this the day? I think she's better. And the mid-range salary, like you mentioned, is a decent fight to target. Not one of my favorites, but it's decent. It's not a full fade fight by any means. I will be on the Hill side for pretty much the same reasons. Monk?
Yeah, I think the Hillside is definitely one to target at 8,300. Look, she's 2-1 in her last 3 fights, but what I'm looking at is her scoring in those 2 wins, 108 and 104, both in 3-round decisions. I mean, she is looking great out there recently. So, yeah, I'm looking at that and the $8,300 price tag for sure. Luana Pinheiro has scored well once against Randa Marcos, and she won.
Bullshit.
She won via DQ. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
The other time she put up 79 against Hughes and 50 against Waterson Gomez in this fight that she probably didn't win either. So I'm not very impressed there. And you said she does land takedowns, but her control time is garbage. 11% against Marcos. That's the best so far. 2%, 7%, 3% is the rest of her fights. So I'm not that impressed with her control time. Angela Hill.
Wait. One thing though, Monk. Let's give her the credit. She did take it out. She got a takedown against Amanda Ribas. That is a real opponent.
She controlled her for 3% of the fight, and then Ribas got right back up and continued to fucking just beat her up. So, I mean, I'm just not impressed with Pinheiro. I wish I was, but I'm going with Hill, especially if this gets extended, which the books think it is. rounds 2 and 3 have been Hill's for the past 3-4 fights. So outside of the Dern fight. So yeah, give me Hill. This definitely is going to decision, but I think if one of them can score well in a 15 minutes, it is Angela Hill.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Adrian Yanez versus Vinicius Salvador. Adrian Yanez is minus 350. Comeback on Vinicius Salvador is plus 275. DraftKings salary, Yanez is 9,300 up at the upper range. Vinicius Salvador is a bottom dweller down there at 6,900. Fight ends inside the distance, actually is minus 260. I'm pretty interested in this fight, but Geek, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, it's got great inside the distance odds, minus 260. Yanez is a finisher, which I like about him. He's put up some good numbers in the past. And, I'm expecting a little bit more of the same here. Vinicius hasn't done a whole lot in the UFC so far, taking losses. To
CJ Vergara.
Yeah, it's not been impressive. Like his one win is that same turd that everybody seems to be. Shannon Ross just keeps showing up, haunting my nightmares. So yeah, I mean, this is a gimme.
Everyone beats Shannon Ross.
This is, to me, it's like a gimme fight for Yanez to get back on track, get another fast finish. Yanez was knocking everybody out. Early in his career, he stepped up in opponent quality and has not kind of done well with that. So he's not who we thought he was. But I do think he's a can crusher. That's kind of what he does. My only concern here, what's the salary for Yanez?
9,300.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Like, I think we've looked at a few other names that I think have higher scoring potential.
Yanez minus 165 to win inside the distance.
Do you want him over Magomed? Do you want him over, the chick who can get takedowns all day? He's just one in the mix. I don't know that I'm going to build around Yanez, but I think he could get a fast finish. He's definitely in my mix. I don't really have any interest here in Vinicius. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same, except higher on Yanez because I think it's such a drastic step down in competition. I really think he could fucking nuke this guy in the late first round, put up a monster number. So I'm a little bit higher on Yanez because he's way better than this turd. Like, should be way better.
Yeah.
How about for you, Monk?
Oh, yeah. Yanez was beating guys like Costa and Kelly. Then took a huge step up, like you said, Font Martinez. And he's really kind of, I wouldn't say put in his place, but there's a definite, he's definitely got some work to do to keep, to get back up into that range there. So, yeah, Salvador is I don't even know if you can call it a step down. This is like jumping off of a freaking mountain and landed on the ground. So, yeah. My only issue here is that at the salary, Yanez does nothing but strike. So he needs a knockdown and a first round finish to pay this salary off. If he gets it done in the second, maybe with no knockdown, he might score 80, 85 points. And we're like, cool, you won, but you were 9,300. You did not pay that off. So that's my only worry here. I think he does have potential to get it done in the first round, of course.
Here's the number. You ready for it, Monk?
Let's do it.
Plus 195, Yanez in round 1.
So that's decent. I definitely can see it happening, but it is still risky at 9,300.
They're giving him 30%, you're getting paid as a 30%, odds for that to happen. So the implied probability there, I think that's right. I think he could probably get it done. I think he's winning this fight.
Yeah,
give him 25%. 1 out of 4 times he does it in round 1. Fine. That's the one that's going to score well. The rest of them. The second round finish is also okay, Monk. You shitting on the second rounder, but I think that's probably...
if he's landing 30, 40 strikes, like and he gets a 7-minute finish, we're looking at like 90 points.
Yeah, maybe. It might not get the 105, 110 level that we need for the salary.
All right, let's move on and let's talk about, somehow this is the third fight from the top. This is a weak card. Like I was telling Monk before, and this is my anniversary, and I will be out, and I'll catch the end of the card. But I'm glad my anniversary fell on this card rather than last week or any one of the pay-per-views. Because the third from the top, we got a guy who's now fought in over 2 years, Ramiz Brahimaj, taking on Themba the Answer Garimbo, or I should re-nickname him Themba. I once met The Rock, and everyone posted it everywhere. Garimbo. Minus 205 for Garimbo. Brahimaj is plus 170. I know I'm a dick for shitting on Garimbo, and I like Garimbo, but I know I got sick of seeing that. The fight does not go to decision. Fight ends inside the distance, is minus 225. So we do have a good fight to target here for GPPs. Monk, hit us with those numbers.
Yeah, definitely a GPP fight here, man. Temba Garimbo, the nerve of stealing Allen Iverson's nickname. I will never. That's damn near unforgivable.
As a Knicks fan, fuck AI.
The 4 wins here. Let me read you the 4 UFC wins between these guys: Pete Rodriguez, Takashi Sato, Michael Gilmore, and Sasha Palatnikov. Yeah, play this one in GPPs. I'm targeting Garimbo. I'll pick him to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if he made a mistake and Brahimaj somehow did something on the ground and got him subbed up. But even so, 7,800, that is really high price to pay for a guy that you're just hoping capitalizes on a mistake. So yeah, it's probably Garimbo. The price is kind of crazy low for him if you think he's going to get it done early at 8,400. So definitely a GPP fight here. I'm playing Garimbo, but I will have some of Brahimaj. Don't like that he's been off for 2 years. That's rough.
Dude, this is kind of an all-in fight for me, Monk.
Yeah, I could see it. I can see it for sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what Cypher says, but I love this fight. First of all, Themba Garimbo is not out there pretending to do anything. He has one thing that he's going to be doing. He's going for takedowns. He's trying to grapple you. He's trying to use that. He's very raw. He's a very raw fighter, not trustworthy, but he's just a wild man in there, and I love that. And he's put up monster scores in his 2 fights outside of AJ Fletcher. And listen, he fought pretty crappy opponents, but he put up monster scores. And I don't think this guy is that much better, Ramiz Ramaj. The difference here is Ramiz does have some counter BJJ. He does have some, exactly what you said. He has submissions, and Themba's a wild man in there. He's all crazy and shit, and he can absolutely get caught in a sub. But if he's not getting caught in a sub, he's usually doing a lot of scoring. So either way that this thing goes, I have a feeling it's going to score really well for the winner. I love it. I'm going to be heavy on this fight. Themba's too cheap for his scoring upside. Forget the odds. Who cares about the odds? If he wins, he's going to do this thing that he does. And I kind of think that if Ramiz Ramaj and whatever Ramiz Ramaj, I don't know, he hasn't fought in forever. If he does his thing, and his wins came against absolute zeros, but if he does his thing, which is submit you, he could do that because Themba is super raw, and he's not the kind of guy that I think has the most technical counter submission skill set in the world. Like Sniper, this guy getting subbed or he's scoring massive. What do you think?
I think he's going to score massive. I am on the Themba side, for much as I shit on him in the beginning, just to kind of be funny. I do think he's better. I'm not high on Brahimaj. He knows what he's doing. He's probably got more power, too, on the feet because he's a little bit reckless, raw, but more power. I think he'll look more like him on top. When you have to rely on somebody getting a submission, I don't like that at the UFC level. Unless you are Damian Maia, I don't like that. Even Chase Hooper is learning how to strike. Like, I know he got the sub, but you can't be that one-dimensional. I kind of think Brahimaj, he reads one-dimensional to me. So let's see how it pans out here. Agree with everything the guy said. Like this fight a lot to target in GPPs. I would go so far. The mid-range is rough. Making me pick a mid-range cash play outside of the main event. It's probably Themba. Yeah, because it's rough in that range. If you go look, it is. Let me go read that range here. Lerone Murphy, who does not count clearly. You got Chaos Williams, who we're going to talk about, Angela Hill, who's scoring, I'm questioning, and Clayton Rodriguez and Themba Garimbo. And then, that's that range.
It's really not close.
Themba's live for cash is the last man in. I'm not starting my lineup there, but I'm not going to hate it if I land there.
Themba and cash. I mean, I haven't even thought. I mean, it is early in the week to be thinking about cash, but
once you start building that range,
it's Themba and Angie in that range for me.
Yeah, it's Themba and Angie. It comes up. And to me, Angie's almost a little bit too, I've started, tinkering. Yes, you want to build a floor. At some point, you can be too safe. You want a floor, but if your ceiling is also 60 to 70, that doesn't really help me. I'd rather take 20, 30 in a loss and give myself 110 upside too. Like I know we build floors, and I'm all about building a floor. You got to have somewhat of a ceiling. You're going to get left way behind. be interested to see what the odds do throughout the week, because if Themba, it's closing the wrong way here, to where what's going to be really interesting is if this line flips or becomes pick'em, people are going to start odds value playing Brahimaj and cash, and then you're going, what the fuck do we do? Because no matter what the inside the distance odds are, if this line flips or is pick'em, people are going to see pick'em, and people are going to see Ramiz Brahimaj at 7,800, and they will play him in cash. Mark my words.
Let me look at this line movement here. It has been extreme.
Is it going? Because it's minus 200.
I did not even notice that. I mean, Ramiz was a big underdog. I think people are seeing the submission upside here, but because that's what he does. And Themba fights in his style. I'm telling you that he will leave himself vulnerable to that, because he will engage in grappling with Ramiz. He will engage over and over. He's going to throw his head out there. It's going to be all over the place. Long neck.
But will he stick his neck into a takedown, hesitate for 10 seconds, and then still try and get a takedown and get fucking his neck taken home like Vitor Petrino? That's one of the wildest sequences I've ever seen.
I mean, you see it. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's giant. So, I mean, he's got that long neck. I mean, what do you want? So, it's sitting there. It's there for the taking. It's concerning.
Very, very concerning. Not as concerning to me as our next nickname, because I need Monk to explain this to me. It's Chaos, the Ox Fighter Williams. The fuck are we thinking?
Dude fights oxes, bro.
I guess. Taking on Carlston. I don't know, some South African thing that I don't want to fuck up and get yelled at. Harris.
I think it's the location. It's like where he's from.
Yeah, I don't want to mess it up. Chaos is minus 125. Carlston is plus 105. This is our co-main event of
Mozambique. Mozambique.
Is that how you say it? Even though there's
no, it's not Mozambique.
I don't think
that's
so.
a country. It's a country.
Mozambique.
Fight ends inside the distance is minus 210. So another good one to target here. I'm going to say that this is one of the dogs I'm liking on the card. I'm not high on Chaos Williams. I kind of think he's a fraud. He lost his losses are to good competition in Michel Pereira and Randy Brown, but his wins are Rolando Bedoya. Miguel Baez is a decent one, I guess. Semmelsberger. I don't know. I think Carlson is better than all the guys he's beaten. I think Carlson is a legit prospect. Close fight. I trust Carlson Harris to show up more than I trust Chaos Williams. It's a fight I'll have both sides. If it's a GPP special fight to me, for sure. But I lean towards the slight dog in Carlson Harris. I should have mentioned the DraftKings salaries. It's the mid-range fight. Williams is 8,200. Harris is 8,000. Geek, who you playing?
I just want to say, if we knew the winner of this fight, it would really, really help for taking down tournaments this week. I think this is an important one. And it's a tough one because you know what Chaos is out there to do. Man, he throws fist. He knocks people out. He's a big dude. He's nasty. He's scary. He's all of those things. And Harris, I think, is a little more technical. He's got that grappling upside. If Harris is able to execute his grappling, get his takedowns going, hey, we could get a nice thing going on here. Get a nice score going. Chaos kind of gets tired a little bit. But Chaos got really good takedown defense, too. 80% on the career. I'm trying to look and see if he's fought anybody who really tried hard to take him down. Monk, you might know, but
Michel Pereira landed 2 on him.
Yeah. So he got the takedowns when he tried. I mean, he's fought sort of the who's who of these kind of knockout guys. And he's had his share of wins against, beefy knockout guys. Sorry, that's Rezek Al Hassan in that group and Pereira. Could Carlston Harris get this W on Chaos? I think so. I think I'd lean that way. If he'll need to get a takedown, though, he does not have the volume expectation that what Chaos has. Like Carlston Harris is really not throwing a lot of strikes in most of his fights, and he's probably going to look like he's losing if he's not getting takedowns. So that part I'm concerned with, but I'm still going to lean Harris's way. I think he's a little more well-rounded of a fighter, but you can't ignore Chaos and his knockout power. That's why this fight, I think, is more important than anything else. This fight is really important on this card. You're going to probably want a piece of it. The salaries are where they are. It's a good spot for salaries. You want one of these two. Which one? Monk, which one?
I'm going with the underdog here, personally.
Oh, we agree again. This card sucks.
No.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you just look at Chaos Williams' UFC career stats, then yeah, you see the knockdowns, you see the almost 100 points per win, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this guy, he doesn't allow any points when he loses. You're like, I'm looking for the early finish. He's got the round 1 KO history. But that was a while ago, man. Ever since that Pajeda fight, he lost that one. Semmelsberger, 3 rounds, 75 points. Miguel Baeza, 11 minutes, 78 points. Rolando Bedoya, he was $9,500 most expensive fighter on the card, and he scraped a split decision, 84 points. So we're nowhere near his average or what he's scoring in the past. And Carlson Harris is no pushover. Yeah, he's been KO'd once, let's see, in his last 5. That was against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Ever heard of him? I think he's kind of an outlier. Other than that, he's just been finished 1 time in his professional career. Yeah, he loses fights until he's not. That's kind of Carlson Harris's thing, unless he's getting it done early on in the first round, a la Christian Aguilera, Impa Kasanganay. But Jared Good and Jeremiah Wells is the perfect example there. I just don't trust Williams to put up a decent score. Even at 8,200, I guess I have to play him, but only because he's the cheapest favorite on the entire card. If he was, say, like 8,800, I would have so much less interest in him. And yeah, I'll be on the Harris side for sure.
This is also noteworthy that it is a line that flipped. Harris started off as the favorite, and that lasted for a while. He came in at minus 150 opening odds, and now he's plus 100. Chaos was a slight underdog, plus 130. Now he's minus 120. So the money.
And why? I mean, he barely beat Bedoya. He lost to Brown, so he's kind of 0-for-2 in his last 2. He beat Miguel Baeza, not in the UFC.
The only thing I could think of is you kind of hit on it, in that he loses fights until he wins them. And Chaos Williams, the argument is Chaos Williams hits too hard for that to happen. Like, if you are going to start losing a fight early, you got a problem.
It's a reasonable argument. Plus, Chaos has good takedown defense career-wise. Like, the way that Carlson Harris has been winning, I don't really see him knocking out Chaos Williams. I don't see that. I think he would have to take him down and do some wrestling work to get the win. And I think that's what maybe people are seeing. It's like, wait a minute, Chaos is pretty good against the takedowns. His 80% career takedown defense, that is a good number. And he's fought real grapplers. Like, yeah, he's gotten taken down, but he fought Alex Morono. Like, he's fought guys who will go for a takedown, and he's kept it standing. So maybe that's the deal. I think super live here. I don't have a strong lean to Harris. If you guys are both picking Harris, I'm actually going to switch mine, and I'm going to go with Chaos because I don't want to match on this one.
I'm going to have more Harris, but Williams' win isn't going to beat me.
I think I'm switching my pick. I'm going with Chaos here. You know what? Chaos. There
we go.
Old school, gets the finish. Carlton Harris. Carlton. He does the Carlton dance all the way out of the octagon.
That'd be sweet.
It would be great. All right, it's main event time, boys and girls.
Doing the Carlton.
While he does the Carlton, you look at our main event. If you didn't already, hit the like button, share it.
If you didn't know I could do the Carlton.
Everybody can do the Carlton. We're going to talk.
What did you just say, Sniper? Wait, I think we might be canceled. What did you just say?
Everyone can do the Carlton.
Not everyone.
Everyone? Okay. Every white boy could do the Carlton, which canceled.
That's going to get me canceled? Man, don't listen to last week's episode.
You're fine.
We're talking about Billy Goff's. We're talking about tattoos that said trust your gut and questionable friend choices. Anyway,
you're lucky I wasn't feeling well the last couple of weeks and didn't have the
but we're making money. We've been on a nice little roll, so don't fuck it up. Edson Barboza, he is the dog. Edson Barboza is the dog at plus 125. Lerone Murphy, undefeated, 13-0 draw, is the favorite at minus 150. DraftKings salary, Lerone Murphy is 8,500. Barboza is 7,700. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 140. The finish projected by the odds is right around the end of the 4th round. For me on this card, I'm stacking this up. I know it's 2 strikers, but on this card, I don't love a whole lot of dogs. I'm going to go ahead and stack it up, especially because I'm kind of picking the dog anyway. I'm on the Barboza side. Look, Murphy's a good prospect, sure, but he's beating guys. His wins are Josh Coolabout. He just fought Josh Coolabout, and I know he looked great. Edson Barboza is not Josh Kulabau. It's not Gabriel Santos. It's not Makwan Amirkhani. Barboza is a giant step up. I know Barboza is old, but he doesn't look like he's fallen off. He just went He just went to war with Sadiq Youssef for 5 rounds.
Hold on a second. You just shit on this guy, and I agree with that. But I do think that it's not. He's also beaten Ricardo Ramos. He's got a win against Zubaira Tukhugov.
That win has not aged well.
Yeah, that is not aged well.
How about Douglas Silva? Like, he has real wins.
He has real wins, but are you going to compare any of these guys to Edson Barboza?
This is step up time right now.
There's a draw over Zubaira, by the way. Did not beat him, only drew him.
What happened to Zubaira?
And the point is, the guys who beat Edson are not the guys who are going to strike with Edson. That has over the years been a dangerous thing. And now I get Barboza as a dog and someone who's going to want to strike with him. I mean, I guess Murphy could go for takedowns, but I think Barboza is good enough to stop the takedowns of Lerone Murphy. Like, stack it up, play both sides, but I lean towards the Barboza side. It is because there will be decent volume in this fight. Not an all-in fight, but one to get your normal main event heavy exposure to. For me, it's Barboza. Monk, take us through the stats before Geek gives us the pearls of wisdom at the end.
I agree. I mean, this is a shit card because we agree on almost everything. So it's not actually a shit card, but just because of that. I agree. We stack it up in cash. I like that. My first thought when I saw this fight was, again, Barboza just put up 108.5 against Quarantillo. He just put up 129 against Sadiq Youssef in a striking battle. Like, I know he landed 3 takedowns and he only had 12% control time. So, I mean, almost a round was control time, but over 350 strikes, almost 350 strikes in that fight total. So, yeah, my first thought was, we're doing this again. And just what Sniper said, Murphy's fought Kulibau, Amirkhani, Douglas Silva de Andrade. I mean, we're not in the same realm as Sadiq Youssef, as Shane Burgos, as Bryce Mitchell, as Giga Chikadze, maybe even as Billy Quarantillo. So I'm kind of surprised we get him at an underdog for a 3rd straight time against a fight that should be primarily on the feet against a guy who we have question marks about in Lerone Murphy. So yeah, give me Barboza straight up. I don't mind the stack, but I'll definitely have more Barboza overall in all formats compared to Murphy for sure. Also, when is Murphy scoring well? Like against Hamosh, who gets points scored on him every time he fights. Kulibau, he put up 97, but he put up not even 60 against Douglas Silva de Andrade. Not impressed overall. Not impressed.
Yeah, I mean, Edson's had some good scores lately, Monk, but he's got a long career, and recency bias needs to be removed. And you can, over time, he's not a guy that is lock button big scores. You know, he's got his low scoring wins as well, but Edson Barboza is the man. This is the perfect step up for Lerone Murphy, though. And let's see, you know, let's see how good Lerone Murphy is, because so far he stepped up to the challenge every time. You know, he's a good striker. He's got everything that you want. Does not really do a whole lot of going for take. Has a little bit of that, a little grappling, but I don't think he's taken down Edson Barboza. I kind of doubt it. I could see Barboza taking him down because he's got terrible takedown defense. Doesn't seem to really care much to stop takedowns, to be honest with you. So I could see the script being flipped here and Edson going for a takedown or 2. And that's the kind of thing Edson will need to get pump that score up. So 5 rounds on a card with so many fights that are not standout big scoring type of fights. And they're mid-salary. I don't even know how you could get through at what price. What's the salary here? 9,300, 77, 83. Is that, yeah, that's the level here. 85. 77. Mm-hmm. Barboza at 7,700. If he wins, Monk, he's the nut.
Oh, yeah.
He's the nut if he wins. Mm-hmm. I don't care. You know, did he score 92? Did he score 105? I don't think it matters. I think if he wins, he's probably going to be in the winning lineup. Great. Love Barboza. Now, Murphy, again, this is a step up. Is he this guy? Is he the guy that can get in there with Edson Barboza? Like, the perfect leveling for Edson Barboza was the Dan Ige fight where Ige came in and showed, hey, I am that guy. I'm in that little tier above Edson Barboza in this in this category. And so, yeah, Lerone's got no win along the lines of an Edson. So we're going to find out where he's going to fuck around. And then we're all going to find out together. But I think the winner of this fight is probably going to score enough points to matter at their salary. So I definitely want a piece of it. I agree with you guys. I'd probably lean just a little bit towards Barboza here in what looks like a striking battle and what looks like a fight where Barboza could get a takedown. But overall, all I know is this is a fight. Yeah, you're going to be clicking these names, one or the other, and definitely both in cash. No question.
All right, guys, we did it. We broke down all, however fucking many is, 12 fights for this card. Now we got to do kill shots. If you don't know what kill shot is, it is a fighter, not popular, an under-owned fighter on DraftKings. Typically, when you can win you a GPP, typically it's an underdog. I think there's actually a couple of favorites who technically I think I would allow because they should be so under-owned. If you want to, like, Emily Ducote's going to put up a big score, I actually think that would count. But something is going to be under-owned that's going to help you win a tournament, like Waldo Cortez Acosta or Chase Hooper.
Can I do
something
P-Rod?
like that. What?
Can I do P-Rod as a kill shot?
Piera Rodriguez? Probably not. I don't think.
No, I know I have one, but like I kind of like her too at 8,800 as an interesting pay up option that could score.
Monk, you got one queued up? You got one?
Yeah, we'll go with the old Mongolian Knight, Alatang Haili against Kledson, the untrustable Rodriguez.
You bastard! All right, I need a second now.
I think we were all thinking of Alatang. I think we were all thinking of Alatang.
My name, I was like, I'm taking him.
Oh man,
yeah, that's a rough scene.
There's so few fighters even below 7,800 on this card.
I choose business ethics.
Solid.
Sniper
reference.
What do you got for this one?
Oh God, why did I let Monk go first? It's such a mistake. So you know what? What's funny is that I am going to, what are the prices here? Shit. You know what? I'm gonna go the other side of the fight. You mentioned Gigan, not because I like her to win, because it's the highest variant fight on the card. It's the lowest level. I'm gonna take Ariane Carnelossi, who could be on them Brazilian vitamins.
Oh, yeah.
7,400. Any kind of win could get there, and there's a dog shit avalanche around her. So I'm picking Piera, but I'm going to be forced into playing some Carnelossi. So
a dog shit avalanche.
I need you to load up on all of the Brazil and Mexico's finest supplements, please.
The best acai.
I think the breakdown here has shown us a little bit that like there aren't a ton of underdogs that are going to be super live for us. And a lot of these expensive favorites, we're just going to throw them out because when you don't have a lot of underdogs, the best way to deal with that is, hey, all right, you've got your one guy, you've got maybe Edson, and then you could kind of go pretty middling with the rest of the salary, and you don't need a third underdog in it. If I needed a deep underdog that was not somebody we talked about just now, it might even have to be Vanessa Demopoulos, just from the. Yep. I don't get why Ducati is such a favorite. Period. Right. I'll throw that one out though. And I told you already, I kind of like P-Rod as an interesting pay-up option. Not sure if she'll be owned, but if you're going to force me to choose an actual fighter that I think could maybe win a fight, who's underdog enough to count as a kill shot, I'm going to go with Ramiz Bramaj. As much as I'm picking Themba Garimbo to win the fight, I do think that Bramaj has a direct path to a submission win, and that will score. And that would be great. And that will be an inside the distance finish that we all know and love in our fantasy lineups.
Works for me. 12 fights, UFC Vegas 92. Barboza and Murphy is in the books. Come join us at DFS Army. Links down below. Use your code, whatever fucking code you want. I won't tout my own right now. They're all down there. Check it out. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
Nope. Let's go.
Let's do it. Best of luck.
More screenshots up on the Twitter and in the Discord. Good luck, guys. We'll see you next time.